Hello everybody, this is Havoc and welcome to a Nine Kings. This is a roguelike deck builder with a demo currently on Steam, which is what we are playing today. This is a series of kings, as you can see here. The King of Blood, Spells, Nothing, and Greed, at least for the demo. And in this roguelike deck builder, you're kind of building up your kingdom by creating some wacky and amazing combinations to last against the other kings. Today, we're going to be playing as the King of Blood, and we're going to try and see if we can't find some really awesome combos. This game is a ton of fun, and I highly recommend that you go and play the demo right now because I've had, I don't know, I'm 12 hours into this game at least, and having a ton of fun. Couple of things to mention. First, if you like this kind of content, be sure to let me know by giving the video a like, subbing to the channel, leaving your comments in the comment section down below, but also, I am associated with Hooded Horse, Nine Kings publisher. You can find out more about what this means in the description of the video down below. I am not being incentivized in any way, shape, or form to create this content. I'm simply playing the game because it's a lot of fun. The King of Blood, let's go ahead and go with it. You can see kind of the range of cards that the King of Blood provides. We're going to try and see if we can't create some massively awesome combinations using things like the Cemetery, which summons imps in battle if they die, and we can start getting those kind of combos. The Demon Altar is a ton of fun, brings in a demon that for each dead ally gets a permanent 0.5% stronger. There's lots of fun things. We're going to play on Baron difficulty, which is the highest difficulty we can play. Let's get to it. The year is 538. And these are your enemies, which is the King of Greed, of Nature, and a twisted version of ourselves. So a Ziggurat summons imps onto the battlefield. This is going to be kind of like our capital. If the enemy gets to it, we lose one of our 3 lives. And what do we have here? A Demon Altar for every dead ally. Yeah, we'll go ahead and roll with this. It's our only main unit that we have. And then again, there we go. We have 9 imps that are summoned from the Ziggurat, and then they go back to there. Overinvest isn't something we could do right now. We could spend 30 gold. I'm going to go with a beacon. Yeah, we'll do a beacon. And I kind of want to put a beacon. We're going to put 2 other units right here, because we're going to have another beneficial thing. I'm going to put the beacon right here, which doesn't benefit me right now, but very easily could in the future. The King of Nothing. Pretty simple, cut and dry. We don't really have much of an option here. I am going to roll with the Blacksmith. They give 2% attack damage to adjacent units and towers. That's going to be useful there. Now, unfortunately, that doesn't actually affect the Demon, because the Demon, for some reason, it just doesn't. I can't quite think of the reason at the moment. We're going to keep the Midas Touch, and we'll go and upgrade our Ziggurat, which gives a lot more damage, as well as health and hits per second, so overall it's a good one. The Blood Rebellion doesn't stand a chance. My word, I really need a freaking imp or something. None of this stuff is happening. I guess we could roll with the Cemetery. What do we have here? Increases the attack speed of our towers. We don't need that. Units and towers have a 20% chance to deal critical damage. I'll do the Eyeglass, that's fine. And we're kind of setting things up for the future, although we're not getting our imps or our bombers or anything like that, which is making this run a little cursed from the get-go. King of Greed still doesn't stand a chance. These early years are really simple. Are you serious right now? 3 gold at the end of every round. Sure, we'll drop that over there. I really need to get some imps in here, though. Otherwise, we're going to start getting wrecked. Yeah, like right here, King of Nothing. We're okay. But I really need some damage. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? The game hates us. Let's go with the... I can't place that anywhere, and I can't do that either. We're going to sacrifice over here just to get some simple gold. But yeah, if we... Yeah. The Blood Rebellion... I mean, like, we're not getting any units, so what can I do here? I specifically want imps and stuff, so we already lost 1 life, which isn't good for us. Okay, bombers, that's something. Like, we at least have something. They do 10% of their damage... No, they don't. They go when they bomb everyone. Actually, I do think they do 10% of their damage. So, I mean, but look at this. Like, the game hates us. All right, well, we have 1 life left already. The game, there's nothing I can do about this. I guess we can get some thieves in. We can just replace them in the future. I really just wanted to focus on imps and bombers, but the game says, screw you, basically. All right, so the Blood Rebellion. Okay, good. We at least have that going for us. Give me my imps, dadgummit. There we go. Time to wage war against another king. Let's go with the King of Nature. They've got some really good things for them. And then a fast and aggressive small troop with lots of units. The lots of units part is crucial because that way the cemetery can actually do its work. There we go. See, look at that. Was that so hard, game? Was that so difficult? Procreate is going to be adding 9 units to our troops. And then let's go... When killed, units explode, causing 10% area damage. 10% of their HP would only be 1.2 damage. I would rather get a steel coat, which cancels the first hit the target unit would take in battle. So that means they can essentially take 1 hit before they actually start taking damage. And now the King of Greed doesn't stand much of a chance. Great. Okay, this is what we wanted to see. Not this late in the game, but that's okay. Oh my word, they just really hate us, don't they? We have 86 gold. I really would like a farm, but we're going to go with a beacon. I don't even know that I want another ziggurat. So what we're going to do is we're going to boost the beacon up, which gives double the effect. So it will increase their attack by 4% every time. And then we'll go ahead and get a round 2 level thief, which might help us a little bit. They're going to get into their back line, take out those archers. There we go. There we go. King of nothing. Get wrecked. Wild card, we'll take that. We'll actually be able to level up our imps, which will give them increased stats across the board. A little bit more health, a little bit more damage, and some more hits per second. There we go. Now we're finally starting to do some business. We're going to go with a beacon and get a level 3 beacon, which means they're going to get 6% increase in attack speed. Every once in a while we get the ability to add a new tile. I'm trying to think. I'm going to add over here, and I want to get a farm eventually, but we're going to get a level 3 here, which is the highest we can get, which is going to be 6% increased attack speed per turn. King of Nature doesn't stand a chance. And now that we've defeated him, this is how it works. You defeat him, and then you're able to get one of their cards. Let's go with Procreate and get more bombers and see if that can help us, because they actually do a good deal of damage. There we go. King of nothing. Sweet. So you can see that our boils are starting to do really well here. I want to get the farm because that allows me to get an increase in soldiers every time. Doubles the maximum HP of currently active troops. This is really good for us, actually, because if we got the Carnage, we just doubled the HP, which means they now do 15%. No, right? They do 10%. Yeah, so they do 3 damage, which isn't bad. That's not bad at all. Instead, I'm going to go here real quick. We're going to add some extra boys over there. And the King of Greed's already doing work, unfortunately. Sweet. Let's see. A ziggurat would be helpful. We're going to go ahead and get that level 3. But before I do that, I am going to drop that over there. Although I wonder if this would have stacked well with the bomber. There we go. Now we're making bacon. Oh. This is a really useful one. Let's take a look here. It has to be adjacent. I'm going to destroy the cemetery, and we're going to get the boars. I'm going to tell you why here in a second. We can make peace with one of these guys. We're going to get rid of the King of Greed. I don't need him. His stats aren't very useful for us right now. So basically, if we can get rid of the cemetery, the boar can be mounted, and for each health it has, it increases a rider stats by 1%. So if this boar has 10 HP, the stats of its riders, which is going to be the imps or the thieves, actually increases all of its stats by 10% rather. So that's super helpful. Unfortunately, we can't get anything to remove this right now. We'll be able to have a sacrifice hopefully here in a little bit. That would be one of our cards, but we can get a clone, and a clone literally just reproduces the cards that are already there. So we're going to reproduce the imps and get level 3 imps. And those guys will now do almost 4 damage when they die. There we go. Sweet. All right. You can see now they're starting to do a good deal of damage. We're going to go and drop the farm so that way these guys increase by 2 every round, every year, rather. And the Blood Rebellion didn't stand a chance yet again. Okay, so we're going to go with Vampirism. Units attack heals it for 25% of the dealt damage. So they will deal 4.1 damage, which means they'll essentially gain 1 health for every damage. So that means 1 health a second is what they will gain. These guys blow themselves up, and so I don't feel like that helps them. These guys do 14. That's a lot of damage. We may keep our thieves around, I'm not sure. We're going to drop Vampirism on these boyos, though. And they get a 25% chance of a critical hit. Which means they shouldn't die quite as much in battle. We're going to continue to clone troops, or clone cards, as we see fit. And then we are going to... I think we're going to go ahead and open up this space, because eventually I'll be able to get rid of this guy. We're going to clone the Blacksmith, so that way we can start getting 4% increase in attack damage. Ooh, this one might actually be really tough. They had a lot of knights on the front, and those guys are beefy. Okay, cool. King of Nothing. Didn't quite stand a chance. We're gonna re-roll and get something that I really, really want. Maybe. No. Okay, we'll get a third round Blacksmith. There we go. Now 6% damage every single time. There we go, boyos. And you can see there that 0 that you keep seeing, that's the stack of steel. That's actually really helping us. Procreate, I'm all for that. Oh, doubles the movement speed of all your troops. The maximum quantity of all of these are really good. Doubles the maximum HP of currently active troops. Because again, they get, well, 25% of their attack damage goes towards health. But when they die, 10% of their health now goes as damage, and that's 7.5, and that's not too shabby at all. And then these boyos, if we just got more of them, that would also be beneficial. I really need a sacrifice card. The game doesn't want me to win this. I swear on my life. Let's go with our bombers. Well, no, these guys can't increase anymore. Not on their own. The farm will help those boyos. There we go. We need those bombers to really take those guys out. Sweet. All right, we have a few more years until we hit endless mode, and this is one of my favorite modes because we literally can be endless. I'm actually going to stack steel coats twice on this, which means they now need to be hit twice before they start taking damage. And the Blood Rebellion. Oh boy. Okay, good. Whew. Here we go. So this is what I really like. Unfortunately, it's not incredibly useful for us at this very moment, but we'll get into that in just a second. We are going to do Carnage and Procreate, and that's all we have money for. So Sacrifice is convenient because it destroys a target plot and adds 1 level to adjacent places, which only levels up our thieves. So that's the unfortunate part. The fortunate part is I can now put my boars in there. So they start with 60 health, which means that they increase the rider stats by 60%. We're going to drop a Procreate on top of that, which gets us 9 more. And these guys are going to move 60% faster. And that is so dangerous, but it's so much fun. Sweet. We're going to go with Procreate again. We're going to drop a Carnage again on them because they are going to start doing some crazy damage. So they now do 20%, and the Blood Rebellion doesn't stand a chance. And we're heading into our last year. Let's get right here. All right, the King of Nothing is leading his final assault. We have to use all of our cards this time. I'm going to dump into our imps. I'm going to Procreate on the boars, giving us more of them so more riders can happen. And we're going to level up our Ziggurat to a level 3. Alrighty, let's see what happens. We're going to slow it down just a little bit. Holy Moses. By the way, if we lose this, we lose the game and we can't get into endless mode. It's not looking good for us. Come on, get into the back line. Get into that back line. Come on, boyos. Good grief, the King of Nothing is crazy strong. Survive! Survive! My imps are doing so much damage. We're gonna speed it up. Please survive. Dude, this guy's tanky. Okay, sweet. Whew. Whew. Alright, our kingdom has thrived, and now we can get into endless mode. We're not gonna make it very far, I don't imagine. We got imps so late in the game. It's a bit bonkers. Okay, so now that we're in endless mode, we can start attaching things as much as we want to. So I'm gonna unlock this. It's all we really have money for. I guess we could go here in case we got something we wanted to build for our thieves. But we have our blacksmith, which may be useful. I really just want to see how much we can get these imps up and running. I don't know. I guess the King of Nothing is who we killed last. 2% attack damage. I don't want to do that here. We'll go with our blacksmith over here. I have a reason for the boars needing to be open that we'll get into, hopefully in a little bit if the cards favor us. Okay, Blood Rebellion was easy. We're going to go into a level 2 demon altar. Oh, come on, King of Nothing. You can't handle us. And that demon altar, remember, just gets buffed nonstop. Okay, so we're going to go into a little bit of a min-maxy thing here. We're going to get a farm, which is going to increase our boars every turn, which means they'll start being able to ride more, which means more riders will get more of those abilities. Brilliant. Okay, and a forest is what we want next, because then, this is my favorite min-max when we are fielding a lot of troops, because a forest adds 1 HP to adjacent units, which means that this guy buffs his health by 1 every turn. Of course, we can stack that, which means they increase their stats by, oh wow, they just ran over me. Which means they increase their stats as well. Good grief, they just decimated me. And that was actually the last one. No! Alright, we're gonna try this again though, because I think we'll have a lot of fun with it, and we can hopefully get a little bit of a better... Alright, we are gonna start as the King of Blood again. Hopefully we get a little more beneficial for us. Ziggurat goes down. A bomber right off the bat's gonna be finally something beneficial. There we go. Easy peasy. A cemetery isn't... I don't know. We could probably get a cemetery down below, which again means when they die, it actually summons an imp. So every time these bombers die, they'll actually come back. So that's kind of min-maxing a little bit. Our wild card. We're going to go ahead and level up our bombers. A library is useful. We'll go ahead and put that in our deck, but we're not necessarily going to use it. I'm going to use the Mangler only so I can level up our boyos next, or soon. So this guy actually uses, he sacrifices 2 units, or an adjacent damage for that. And I don't want that. Doubles the maximum HP. Enemies killed have a 10% chance of coming back. Yeah, let's go ahead and go into summoning this time and see if that really works. I don't want this guy to mess with our bombers. So we already have level 3 bombers, which do an insane amount of damage, and then they come back to life. I like that. Offering. We'll go ahead and do that. Go ahead and get some carnage going on these guys, so that way they do 10% more damage. Sweet, this is a piece of cake. The game hates me. It doesn't want me to be able to min-max like I want to min-max. We are going to go ahead and destroy that. We can't even do a wild card anymore here, although I could level up the cemetery. Rather, I think we're going to spend 30 gold. And then I am going to... yeah, let's go ahead and level up the cemetery. And I'm going to overinvest in these guys yet again, so their stats are boosted by 30%. They do a crazy amount of damage. Roll ready. There we go. There's my imp boys. We are going to wage war against the King of Nature. I like greed, but greed doesn't really support what we need to do right now. There we go. If we could get a double speed in one of these, I think the next round we could do that. That would be very helpful for us. We're gonna procreate. I'm gonna go ahead and start harping in on my imps. And we're doing really good. I mean, our cemetery is starting to do a lot more work. A ziggurat, soldier, or scout tower. We're gonna rock with our ziggurat. I really like the idea of the demon altar still. Oh, I can't afford anything. I only have 30 gold. Son of a biscuit. That's fine. That's fine. Vampirism is what really works for these guys. It doesn't work for the bombers because they blow themselves up. There we go. Static is actually really fun. Okay, so we're finally getting some fun little max things going on here. I think I want to continue buffing my bombers. They have so much more health. They do so much more damage. But static triggers a lightning chain which deals 1 damage and 1 chain per stack. That's a lot of these guys happening. And so they just stay alive a lot longer, which I feel like utilizes that a lot more than the bombers do. And then remember, there's a 10% chance those guys our enemies come back as summoned allies. So that's really, really helpful as well. We're gonna buff into our blacksmith for obvious reasons. Yes, and you see those gray guys, those are our enemies come back to life to fight for us, which I think is really, really helpful. We're gonna stack again. Buildings apply their effect 1 more time. Wonder if that means they could come back twice. Enemies have a 20% chance to be summoned as allies. We're gonna apply the building effects 1 more time, because that means now he does 3 or 6% damage basically. If we leveled it up again, it would be 8% damage every single round. Procreate, absolutely. We're gonna create more bombs. I just need a whole bunch of boyos to come back and fight for us. There we go. And here's our farm, which is something we can really use. Who do we want to make peace with? The King of Nothing or the King of Nature? We're gonna make peace with the King of Nothing, which means we have spells, or blood, and nature. And I think a farm to this guy would be really helpful because that's now 2. If we leveled him up all the way, we would get 4 additional bombers every turn. Like, think about that. Think about that. Unfortunately, I did think I took the King of Nothing away, which means our farms are gone. That's okay. That's okay. We're gonna get a Spire. It's not gonna be super helpful for us, I don't think. Unless we see that it actually does heal a lot. But I think we're at the point now where that healing doesn't truly help us a lot. We're gonna get level 3 imps, and I'm doing this because we can destroy that just to be able to invest in our boyos. We're gonna overinvest there, overinvest here, and then I'm gonna get my imps into there, and then we'll use our wild card to actually get another farm. There we go. There we go. Unit causes area damage equal to 20% of its attack when it kills an enemy. So that would be useful for the bomber, but I also feel like since the imps would stay alive longer, it may actually be a lot more beneficial for the imps. We could do that, but we're gonna do the farm real quick here because we're gonna add 3 bombers to every single attack in every single year. There we go. Start wiping them, please. Please and thank you. Procreate is always going to be my go-to there. We're going to get combustion now, though. That's going to be super helpful. Yeah, there we go. I'm loving the damage. We're going to continue with our Spire. Summoned units are 50% stronger. All allied units, no, we don't want those. Your buildings apply their effect 1 more time. Why? We're gonna go with our summoned units are 50% stronger. That's huge, as much as I want the overwork. Let's hope we get war horns. But I like the overwork. The overwork is just so much. Yeah, that's 8% damage increase. And we're already doing massive amounts. There we go. We don't need a ziggurat. We could get our boars and try that strategy from last time. I'm gonna work on creating even more imps though. And we are doing significantly better than we were in the first round. That's the difference that those imps make. Combustion yet again would be really nice to have. Vampirism would also be a good one. I'm wondering if this is still beneficial for us overall. Combustion yet again, which means they now do 40% of their damage. Okay, I know what I think we need to do. I think we need to try and find a library, so we need to make sure we don't get the King of Spells off of our board. To procreate, because I actually may get rid of the boars. I'm not entirely sure at the moment. Vampirism. What is that? That's 25% of the damage dealt. That's 2-ish per attack, and they attack 0.7 hits a second. Let's go ahead and roll with it. But yeah, look at those bombers, 127 per. Not to mention summoned units. We are going to do Carnage, which means 10% HP as area damage when killed. That is their purpose, which means they would do an additional 12.7 damage. Definitely going to do that. I'm going to rock with 9 units to the boars, and then we're going to put a spire there in the corner, kind of out of the way. Come on, boyos. Oh, that's an ugly boss. Holy Moses. Okay, let's get into endless mode. All right, so we have some min-maxing that we can try and start doing now. So what we can do is add that there, because I could get a beacon, which would increase, that would increase the attack speed. They already have combustion and vampirism. If I increase the stats on vampirism to where we could, oh man, yeah, we could increase their health rate, which would allow them to survive longer. We're gonna go ahead and get a level 3 just because we do have our cemetery here. Although we're not really taking use of it. That Blood Rebellion got wiped. This is fantastic. Do we even have level 3 bombers? Okay, we do have level 3 bombers. The question is, do we start doing more of them? I think we have to. So now they're going to start splitting between, which is fine. But I think will actually be really useful here. And if worse comes to worse, I can sacrifice those guys. And we can actually level up both of these, which wouldn't be a bad idea. All right, level 3 boars. Again, they don't have a ton of health, which is fine. We need them to have more health, but that's okay. We're still doing a ton of damage with our bombers. Let's go with a Demon's Altar. I finally want to get into that. Maybe a little bit late in the game for a Demon Altar. But maybe not. But maybe not. We got wiped by the King of Spells. What the crap just happened? I think they had just a ton of wizards. Okay. A library is, that's what I wanted to build there. And then let's go with doubles the maximum quantity of imps summoned per battle. We're going to do a library because every turn has a 50% chance of duplicating an enhancement on one adjacent unit, which means a 50% chance of getting vampirism, the static, or the combustion. Which again, stack of combustion, which means we get, or yeah, did 2 of them. Okay, so, wow. That's really over freaking powered. The years past are bonkers. Okay, we may be screwed. We may not even be able to get to year 40 at this point. I thought we could do some crazy damage, but it turns out we can't, especially not against the King of Spells. That's okay. That's okay. It looks like we lost already. But guys, you gotta see how much fun we could have. I do know that they have really worked on balancing. They've worked on balancing this game a lot to where you can't do the stupid, crazy stuff you used to be able to do. That doesn't mean it doesn't happen. But ladies and gentlemen, with the King of Blood, it's still freaking blast. I still absolutely love this. And technically we won. The endless mode is really where it comes to life. and you can have some crazy fun. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it today for our look at the King of Blood. I would like to try and get to the King of Greed because there's lots of fun combos there. See what we can't do with the other two maybe as well. But that is largely dependent on your support. So if you enjoyed this content, be sure to let me know. The best way to do that is by giving the video a like. And then, of course, by commenting down below on your thoughts and maybe different combinations that I could try in the future. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this video on 9 Kings. The demo is available right now for you to play. It's the first 4 Kings. Of course, there's going to be hopefully more with the early access release, which will be on May 19th. So we're not too far away from that. Thank you once again. This is Havoc, and I'll see you in the next one.